Κυρίες και κύριοι, καλησπέρα σας. Η Σοβιετική κυβέρνηση ανακοίνωσε σήμερα επίσημα από την τηλεόραση ότι 2 άτομα σκοτώθηκαν και 6 τραυματίστηκαν, ενώ η περιοχή έχει εκκενωθεί. Η περιοχή που βρίσκεται ο πυρηνικός αντιδραστήρας που εξεράγει στην πόλη Chernobyl, 130 χιλιόμετρα βόρεια του Κιέβου. Σε κοινή δήλωσή τους, ο πρόεδρος της ΕΔΑ Μανώλης Γλέζος και ο ευρωβουλευτής Σπύρος Κολοκοτρώνης αναφέρουν ότι το πρόσφατο πυρηνικό ατύχημα στη Σοβιετική Ένωση επιβεβαιώνει ότι δεν υπάρχει καθαρή και ασφαλής χρήση της πυρηνικής ενέργειας, καθώς και το παράλογο του ανταγωνισμού των τεχνολογικά προηγμένων χωρών που οδηγεί στην καταστροφή του περιβάλλοντος και της ανθρωπότητας τελικά.
Στην Ελλάδα, η εμπειρία του Τσερνόμπιλ προκάλεσε ένα είδος ομαδικής ιστερίας με ακραία έκφραση την επιδρομή πλήθους εναντίον των σούπερ μάρκετ. Μέσα σε 2 μέρες αγοράστηκαν όσα γάλατα ευαπορέ και όσα κατεψυγμένα προϊόντα καταναλώνονται συνήθως σε ένα εξάμηνο.
Poison, water and ground.
So this is the real shelter, which was constructed on site here in 1986 just in... It's authentical from 1986.
Microsecond.
The worst was avoided. A second explosion, 10 times more powerful than Hiroshima, which would have wiped out half of Europe. This was kept secret for 20 years by the Soviets and the West alike.
It had been an enormous disaster. An enormous nuclear disaster.
For 15 years, only the first victims will be acknowledged by the authorities.
The minister spoke to us about the accident at Chernobyl. He said they needed miners from our region, the Moscow basin. He gave us 24 hours to gather our belongings.
100,000 soldiers and officers passed through Chernobyl.
This spot around the 4th reactor.
When I read these documents, I discovered everything happened differently. I realized just how huge a lie the party leaders told.
The SS-18 was the warhead the Americans feared the most, and we had 2,700 of them.
Chernobyl was a big illustration of radioactivity let loose.
Reactors have been shut down once and for all. But
first we made the wheel, then we made the car, then we made the bomb. Now it's gone wrong.
First checkpoint is checkpoint of 30 kilometer zone, second checkpoint of 10 kilometer zone, then checkpoint of Pripiat town, and finally checkpoint of Russian woodpecker, so-called military system, radar military system. Chernobyl disaster, I remember, is everything because I was 11 that time. I was born in 1975. I'm quite old now, so I should remember. I was 11, it was springtime. At that time I was near Kiev, 30 kilometers away, in my village, like summer house. And me, my sister, my father and mother, that morning of accident, so accident happened at night time, but that what became light, we were on a kitchen garden, planted potatoes, you know, potato. It's just like Soviet hobby, potato. And my neighbor our neighbor came back, was coming back to his home through our kitchen garden, He said hello, and he said us. He told us, do you know Chernobyl exploded? You know, people talk to people talk to kill. It's information spread faster than internet. I knew it. But in what? Chernobyl exploded. And what? Because, you know, that time we knew that radiation is not good. But all the world start to learn how radiation is bad just after Chernobyl. You know, we knew about the radiation from Soviet propaganda, because after nuclear war should be radioactivity everywhere. In a few days, my parents took me to Western Ukraine to my grandfather and grandmother. We spent all summer there. You know, after Chernobyl accident in Ukraine, we built 4 more Ukrainian power plants. So 50% of our energy, electrical energy producing in our nuclear power plants, you know. It's nuclear energy, I think it's good. It's very, for economic, cheap energy, cheap.
In the result of this accident, well, the big territory around was contaminated. So Soviet government and governmental commission, which was established especially for activities in Chernobyl, they decided to evacuate all the villages on the distance of 30 kilometers. So in summer of 1986, it was found Chernobyl exclusion zone. The Chernobyl nuclear power plant, about 3,000 people. Sure, the function of this object is not energy generation, but it is in the very complicated process of decommission. All this radioactivity could migrate to the Dnieper River, main water artery of Ukraine, you know. Well, and have to manage situation here, have to, what safety aspects necessary to fulfill here? Well, they were constructed protective dams on the both banks of this water object of the river, and operating this dams system is possible to minimize washing out of radioactive materials to the water. Now the wild animals feel comfortable here, and it's naturally created, you know, like wildlife reservation. Sure, well, it's according to legislation this is exclusion zone, but in reality we can see that it's possible to make here any kind of the wildlife reservation. 0.3, this is the reference level for the territory of Ukraine for the landscape like that. Well, and now we can see one of the abandoned villages of exclusion zone. So generally, well, they were evacuated from Ukrainian territory, from Belarus, and from territory of Russia, about 450 settlements. And there are about 150 of them are in the exclusion, are in Chernobyl and Ukrainian side. Good developed agriculture here, milk production, and it was the biggest, one of the biggest cattle farms of this region. It was in a village, in this village. Now we're in the center of Chernobyl town. There to the right side we can see a canteen where people have meals 3 times in a day. There to the right side, this is the new memorial park. Well, but here nobody informed people at all about this accident, and that's why it was really dangerous for all the people, and for some of the people was killing even, because people didn't get information, so they were irradiated more. I'm Yuri Tatartsuk. It was an accident on the reactor unit number 4 of the Chernobyl nuclear power plant. Sure, the territory was seriously contaminated and all people were evacuated from here. Contamination in exclusion zone is very spontaneous. It all depends on the accumulation of radionuclides and different substances, because distribution of them is very spontaneous. So in some of the minimal what we can measure, for example, as what we can measure now, so my device shows about 0.11 microsieverts per hour. It's pretty the same as in Kiev. No danger, no dangers. But in some places, what we'll visit today, we'll measure in front of nuclear power plant, we will see that in hundreds, even thousands times more than we're measuring now. It's sure it's not killing. It's not killing, but human, not life, but human long presence with the levels like that are not recommended. In 1986, to medical personnel was not allowed to tell the truth to the people about the real consequences of this accident. That's why they were forced to give to patients wrong diagnosis, you know. That's why to get real statistic. But you know, there are a lot of direct victims. We know people who died from the real consequences of the influence of radiation. The disease of them it's possible to connect with the presence here and with the high levels of radiation. But you know, there are a lot of indirect victims of that accident. If to speak about psychological moments of this accident, if to speak about the social problems, well, we can say that millions of people suffered as a result of the accident like that. About 120,000 people were evacuated from Ukrainian side of exclusion zone.
Poison, water and ground. Such prediction. But in English variant it sounds wormwood will poison. But Ukrainian words...
Wormwood star.
Yeah, wormwood star will poison.
Open on the 9th of May, because 9th of May, this is the all Ukrainian Memorial Day. And people can use this day to visit this place, to visit the houses of them and to visit the cemeteries with the relatives. Well, and some people live here permanently. So in the period of time from 1986 to 1988, about 1,500 people returned to exclusion zone. Different reasons. So some of them feel uncomfortable in other places. Some of them had discomfort connected with the environment. So the climate of this place, as I told before, is very specific, because 70% of the local landscape are coniferous forests. Not sure they generate a lot of oxygen. So for people who live here permanently, it's even hard to breathe in the big cities and in places like that where there are no forests, where there are not so much oxygen in the air. Some of them unfortunately died, but not of radiation as a result of aging. But if somebody dying in 85 years old of radiation, well, I'd like to. Well, and people didn't occupy houses spontaneously. They returned to the houses of them, like one of the houses, obtained houses to the left we can see. And this, people had to make signs like that. Here lives the master of the house. That's not looters, no offenders or somebody else, just a real master of the house. Know that there are no big industries in the town, but here that you can see the summer shipyard. So there, well, to the right side, you can see the local fire station and the memorial, which was constructed by local firefighters in 1996. So 1996 советские памятники, не представляющие никакого интереса, чем в Russian small dog щенок. Щенок. There are almost accumulations of radioactivity are. It was a village, and the village was pretty big. They inhabited about 1,100 people, and it was evacuated just on the second day after on the second week after the accident. It was evacuated just on the 3rd of May. No, dangerous. It seems to be normal, but if we measure just on the soil. It's immediately 356. So such a distribution of radioactivity everywhere there. So in some places it is more.
It was a school.
Kindergarten, like nursery, for small kids.
And they stay here how long after the explosion?
Well, just a week after. So it was evacuated just on the 3rd of May. So we have about 5 minutes to take pictures here, and after we will go to nuclear power plant. So. Now we are close to the 3rd stage of the Chernobyl nuclear power plant. So on the right side we can see the cooling towers for reactor units number 5 and 6. I mean, for the nuclear power plant was operated when the water was never iced here. So they I remember the winter of the time to commence it. So now American company Novarka have to reconstruct all of that. Reactor unit number 5 in 1986 was ready for operation on 85%. They had a plan to start operation of reactor unit number 5 on the 7th of November of 1986, but was never completed. So now this is the special place with a good angle to the all reactor units, all stages of the Chernobyl nuclear power plant. So calculated the month's dose rate. We come close to the reactor unit number 4. It all depends what they are eating. Well, they know the birds like that, they eat all this vegetation inside and till December of 1996, but logically and according to the project it could be operated 30 years, so it should be stopped just in 2007. Well, it was shut down according to agreement between G7 countries and President of Ukraine. It wasn't a safety decision or economical decision, it was first of all political decision. The second one was an operation from 1978 till the October of 1991. In one of the night shift from October 22 to 23, it was a leakage of the oil. There was blackout and reactor unit and turbine generator of reactor unit number 2 turned into fire. Objects, and after extra inspection of safety of the object shelter, it was signed that it is not safe. So, and that's why, well, it is now in the process of transformations. Those meters measuring about 500 microrentgens per hour, or 5 microsieverts, about 6 microsieverts. They will cover all existing shelter, because the real shelter is there, so all this dark grey facilities, so this is the real shelter, which was constructed on site here in 1986 just. Habited about 50,000 people, and actually the town was very prospective, was very young, was really beautiful, because our average age here, local population was 26 years old, so the town was really very young. There were a lot of kids, sure, so every year they this town, well, actually the number of people here increased seriously, because a lot of people went for work here, a lot of children were born here, so every year there were about 1,000 children, 1,000 new kids in such a way here. Well, town was comfortable, and plus landscape was really, climate was very good there, so this place was very good for hunting, fishing, to have rest on the, to swim in the river, because summer is really warm here, and in winter time also, the winter was really nice. So people, this place was very open for the people, and people really loved this place. Well, and after the first information about the accident, sure, it was on the level of rumors. A lot of people tried to get information, so everybody had that something wrong with the nuclear power plant, that level of radiation increased, but nobody had got access to the real information that's really wrong, what's really happened in this place. Well, and just later, when people were evacuated, they realized what dangerous place they was a long period of time, because the people were evacuated from Pripyat just on the second day after the accident. So accident happened at night from April 25 to 26, and the town evacuation was started just at 2 p.m. of April 27. So they were used about 2,000 buses for that. They were used different trains. They were used. Well, sure, it was not allowed to take any heavy stuff with them. So all the furniture, all the stuff, home stuff was left in apartments, because people were sure they'll be back here very soon. So we were promising to be back here just in 3 days after, when the situation will be normal, radiation situation will be normal again. To compare, well, the prices, for example, sure. go to swimming pool, but not to swim, just to see.
Уже посмотрел. Это Миша, да? Похоже на то. Ты какое чудо природы.
Потому что тепло идет с этого.
Да. Канализация.
School number 3, right? So there were 5 blocks, 5 schools. So there was the third block and the third school. And there you can see the side swimming pool, Lazurny shore. This is the public swimming pool of the town. Well, anyway, everywhere in schools now you'll find a lot of installations. Why we prefer to visit schools? Because there's still a lot of stuff inside, stuff of those time now. It's like a real museum of those time. Especially it's very close to people for. Nevertheless, all this stuff is real. It's authentic from 1986. Before that it was the school canteen, but last time it's transformed into like a small museum, gas mask room. Know that all the gas masks were in use for the civil defense, but left after they were that were abandoned here and now, like rubbish on the floor. Okay, the same staircase.
Did you see a room with gas mask?
But
3 days before accident, this date, it was published, it was printed 3 days before accident. Book, it's not value, but shelf or book, they were too taken. For some reason, because in this school, after accident was a laboratory for radiologic laboratory. So this school was used after accident period. And same experience, because after this we was security, but school abandoned from 1997. Юра. On your left, you can see physical class. Yeah, this and that way. Может, не полностью. Я сейчас проверю. Frozen. Okay.
gas water machines in the water.
Интересно, она за 2 дня замерзнет?
Сейчас посмотрим.
Потому что я дошел один раз, и она начала скрипеть.
Ну, да.
Видишь мои следы?
Вижу.
А то я. Я начал убегать. Would you like to be like a Jesus? A garage for car, which which are used here to carry radioactive materials within 10 kilometers.
I am clean and not contaminated, and go. So they checking up everything. So head, hands, breast, stomach, knees. System is really no. It's really working because it's somebody contaminated. It's alarming. Yeah. First of all, here you can see control. After that, clean or contaminated, or if the sensors are contaminated, they show. And here you can see where is the zone of contamination. My point of view that nuclear energy, this is the wrong direction of the progress. Sure, from the one hand, we get cheap and fast energy. But from another hand, we have got a lot of radioactive waste like spent fuel. It's going to be dangerous during thousands of years. So the accumulation of it from year to year of operation of nuclear energy more and more. It's necessary to look for alternative of that.
Okay.
Because you know that human practice with the nuclear technologies about 60 years. And every day in our calendar is noted that somewhere something wrong happened with the nuclear technologies. Or it's leakage on the any one of the disposal, or it's some troubles and some say pollution in the atmosphere and the nuclear power plant, small accidents. Sure, this one it was the biggest. But even if technologies are good, we can see what happened in Japan. The hurricane, it's natural disaster. So it's wrong way of progress, I think.
Okay.